So I saved the best for last. I've been talking to the Philly Fringe uh, performers all day, and I said, what, what's my palate cleanser? What's my after dinner drink? What is it? I know exactly who I need to speak to. Mother
We need a
Boswick.
clown. We need
Um,
Mother Boswick. Yeah.
all of a sudden, I get this picture of this with a and a huge blonde wig and these big old fashionista glasses. And I hear he's a legit clown. Now
Yeah.
I need to explain that. That you remember Ringling Brothers? Wow. Tell me about how Mother Boswick came to be. 'Cause you look like such a normal guy.
You have a lot. You have a lot of comments and questions wrapped up in this. So take real quick how I became a clown. How I decided on that was because, and then I'll lead into Mother Boswick, which is the culmination of of my life of being a clown. So way before Ringling Brothers. So I, since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a performer, but and I did acting, and I have a degree in acting. Um, but I was always I started really loving the comedic attention that clowns get. I didn't know much about clowns till I got to college, and then I was so drawn to the clowning classes, um, the mime classes, the dance classes, the movement classes. I love the stuff. And then when I look back at things like when I was in high school, I made a big pratfall. We were in the we did the play One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I was one of the crazy people in the place. And I did a fall, and every night, I mean, what did we do? 3 shows, 4 shows, whatever. It's high school, and but I would get big oohs and ahs and laughs, and I went, wow, there's such a power to physicality. Um, and my drama teacher at that time really encouraged it. As I discovered clowning, that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be around those people. Wanted to do that. When I got out of college, came back home to San Francisco, and um, and auditioned for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. I actually, here's the crazy story. I was looking at a little Commedia dell'arte school in California. Think it's the only Commedia dell'arte school in the United States, and it's about 300 miles from San Francisco. It's way up north near the Oregon border. I looked at that one, really liked that program. That's artistic clowning, and I auditioned for Ringling Brothers, and I got the notice on the exact same day. I was working in a box office, and I came home from work, and I had a letter from Ringling Brothers, and I had a letter from the Dell'Arte School of Physical Theater on the exact same mail day. And the Ringling Brothers letter at that time, this was 1987. The Ringling Brothers letter was 3 color. You didn't see that at that time. No one printed 3 color. I opened it. There was confetti came out. The letterhead was 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 old Lou Jacobs is a very famous clown I can talk about. He was their letterhead, and um and the Dell'Arte School was regular school typewritten, or I don't think we didn't have computers back then, shockingly. And I went, and what it came down to, that was the fork in the road for clowning for me. Dell'Arte School uh, was ineligible for some reason. I couldn't get student loans. That was what my decision. It was way up in northern California, and it was huge recession up there. It's all logging. I was going to be in full-time school, and I went, how am I going to do that? My parents are done with me at this point. I can't say I'm gonna. I need another $15,000, whatever it was at that time. And Ringling Brothers was an all expense paid. If you got in, if you agreed to join the circus, it was an all expense agreement, and it was a great coattail. It was a wonderful, it was an amazing program. Loved it so much, and it was, you hit the ground running. So clowning has been my occupation, my obsession, my hobby, my everything, my entire life since that time. Um, that's been my living. I've had jaunts of I substitute taught for quite a while when my kids were little, things like that to supplement, but always clowning, mostly in the kids and family arena. So that means kids parties, of course. That's the bread and butter for what I do, and can talk all about that. That's a fascinating way to make a living. But that, and then in the summers, library shows. I travel all around my area doing summer libraries are a huge market for getting kids into reading and things. So lots and lots of those. Usually I'll do didn't do as many this year, but usually I'll do 40 or 50 libraries over a summer, so a lot. And and then you got the churches and synagogues and all that stuff, their
Sure.
camps and the family get-togethers and on and on. Summers are very busy. So but Mother Boswick, so that's the clown is it's very personal. It's kind of surprising to people, but it's the clown is it's a it comes from a very truly honest place. What endlessly fascinates me about the clown is it's truth and dishonesty at the same time always. So so you're wearing a mask, you're wearing your makeup, your nose, um, but you're telling the truth, but you're lying at the same time is so endlessly fascinating to me if you follow that, because the only way it's funny, the only way it's interesting is if it's coming from a truthful place, and audiences can tell very strongly. I mean, there's a huge history of clowns and Shakespeare and circuses and etc. But that's why clowning can be so also annoying, is if people just try to pretend to be a clown. It's a horrible, annoying thing to watch because um ooh I can go on and on like this, but I'll give you some of my favorite clowns to show you what I mean here is I did years ago my the last Fringe I did was the San Francisco Fringe, and it was about becoming a clown. It's this whole topic. It was my life deciding to be a clown, and one of the thing I landed on, which is so interesting, and not about me, but about what a clown is at the time, Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart were doing their shows back to back. And Jon Stewart's a very physical comedian, very funny. And Stephen Colbert, the Colbert Report, was a clown, a clown act. And both of those they were back to back shows, and they came so close to the line of what is a clown and what is a comedian. And what I came up with was Stephen Colbert is just fascinating to me because what a clown does is brings you into their world, and you see the world through their eyes. So Pee Wee Herman is one of my favorite ever. You loved him. You accepted that he talked to chairs because you were looking at the world through his eyes. A comedian observes the world, and you get the observation. You get the observation of the world. The clown brings you in to create the world. It's a very fine point, but I thought Stephen Colbert was amazing at that. That was really fascinating at the time when I had to sit down and think about it. So, um,
It's
and
very Shakespearean because you have
yes,
your
yep, there you
clown
go.
ending in E and you have your fool. So yes,
Yeah.
it goes way back, such a comparison.
Oh yeah, goes way back. I have a couple of books at home of the native people all over the world had clowns. Every culture has had fools and clowns. And and yeah, don't want to get on the topic of the fear of clowns and all this stuff that goes on in America, but it's an old fashioned tradition. And so Mother Boswick came out. Go back on that track. Is Mother Boswick came out of I was creating a film in I think it's 2002 2003. Is There was a friend of mine who was producing some films. I live in San Francisco. He lived in San Jose. That's about an hour drive from me. and he wanted to produce something, and I came up with a concept of a clown. It was a kid's video. A clown forgets he has a show. So that was the plot. And and it was, it was my crazy house we created. I created a Pee Wee Herman's kind of house, Pee Wee Herman playhouse kind of house where I lived. My partner was a duck that I took everywhere and I would talk to. That was my partner in the show. Um, did did amazingly. Just it was a great video shoot. It was a lot of fun to do over the whatever the month it took us. Running down, we we did some guerrilla theater. If you know, Lombard Street in San Francisco is the famous crookedest street in the world. It's a very crooked street. We we took my car and we stopped. People just wait in line. It's full of cars all day long. People just going around it, and he stopped like the car wouldn't start. And then we had the film crew. We waited for the cars to get backed up, and then I ran down the crookedest street in the world trying to get to my show. We did craziness. We did use the most iconic features of San Francisco, the cable cars and the Golden Gate Bridge. And so there was one point there was a plot problem, and the director, I forgot how it came up. But he said, "You need to make a phone call here. We had a plot problem." I said, "Why don't I call my mother?" And that's where Mother Boswick was originally created. This is 20 something years ago. And just instantly out of the box. I mean, she was on screen for maybe 90 seconds, maybe less, but really stole the show. It was fascinating. A very different character than now, but always there. And I did on my own. I did a follow-up video for the show that was called Here Comes the Clown. Did really well in at the time. Libraries bought a lot of DVDs, original content DVDs at that time. So we were in about something like 12 or 1500 libraries across North America. Was really well received, really neat. Got reviewed in Book List. It was really exciting. And I did a follow up, which wasn't as well received. Didn't have the crew. I just did it myself. I was just, I have a tendency to just go, I'll do it myself. I'll do everything myself. And, but I brought Mother Boswick out, and then it's been in the back of my head for many, many years. And it's such a powerful character. I was always honestly a little bit afraid of bringing her out because I have, I have so little control over what she says. I
He's your Mr. Hyde.
it is a remarkable experience to here I am, very normal dad and me and all this stuff, and then just I get into character, and I have notes all over my computer and everywhere. I know what she's working on. There's all kinds of creation of this fictional town that she comes from, the order of what I'm going to do. I perform so to back up that I perform I have a pretty good following on social media, so I perform live for always at least an hour as Mother Boswick, and it's uh, a lot like preparation for this Fringe festival. I was doing it definitely 6 days a week, and then um, in busier times I'll do minimally 3 days a week. So I've been working on this character a lot, but I go in with notes. What are we gonna how are we gonna structure it today? It's out the window instantly. It's just amazing. And I know it gets flipped like that thing I was telling you about, the honesty and the lie. All of a sudden I'm in the back going, wait, we said we were gonna work on this structure today. And she just takes over. And it is a very it's something else to experience that. It is truly me. It is that character is truly the inside of me.
The inside of you. That's very
Inside of,
interesting.
yeah.
Um, how do you now? You mentioned you have two sons.
Mhm.
How do your kids feel about the inside of you? Kids, I'm going to be Mother Boswick again this weekend.
I gave them a story the other day. It's very funny. So both my sons live in Brooklyn. They both are native San Franciscans. And I can't claim it. I was born in Los Angeles. My parents grew up in Los Angeles and came to Northern California when I was very young. But both my sons are true natives, went to school and all that stuff, and they both live in Brooklyn now. So they wanted the big city life, the really big city life. San Francisco is a a small big city. And so that is the question for them all the time, and their answer generally is like, it's just all I've ever known. What does it feel like if your father is in finance? What does it feel like if your father's a lawyer or your mom's a lawyer? It's all they've ever known. But what I said the other day was very funny. My younger son's a musician, and I was doing the show in at the Hollywood Fringe in June, and he was there with his bandmates, and he brought them, and he didn't think that much of it. He knows what I do. He came to the show, brought his friends, his band, and a lot of them, that was the first time they ever met me. And he realized in the middle of the show, he goes, "Oh, my dad's dressed as a crazy old lady, and I didn't really explain what's going on here." I thought that was the best example of my kids, that they don't that's it's just part of their life. It's just like it's just accepted. I love my older son is I love the story of, he was 4, I believe he was about that old, and my wife was getting ready for work, and he was staring at her in the bathroom, and he said, "Girls don't wear makeup." So that was great.
That's great.
Mm. So
I, I guess
so
it is
yeah,
just normal for them. So
it is.
oh, my daddy's an accountant, and my daddy's a doctor, my daddy's a businessman. Oh, my daddy's a clown.
Mhm. I mean, there are some definite pluses. I mean, they're seeing it now. They're both very grown up. They're both very adult. One's 31, one's 27. So they I was always around because the way I made a living, which is, sporadically. I mean, I always work a lot. I'll average about doing kids shows probably somewhere between minimally 4 a week, and it goes up to 8 or 9 a week if it's busy. So I work a lot, and but it packs it in. It's weekend work because that's when people are have events. And so I was always there for their PTA and their field trips and all that stuff. So that was the plus, that they didn't realize that other parents were not doing that. I was always available for that. Um, the other nice thing was my older son was a very shy kid, very, very shy. And he wanted to be, I taught him to be an auditioning actor. So I was auditioning for commercials at that time, and my agent in San Francisco, um, she didn't like handling children. So when she got the notices, she would ask the actors who had children of the right age. She didn't want to deal with the moms of professional actors. And so I asked him if he wanted to do it. He did, and then it brought him out of his shell. This was a great experience for him, and he he even still he works for a nonprofit, and he appears on video a lot, does photos for their website, things like that. And I see the way he poses and stuff. He's not comfortable, but I taught him to fake it. So that was a great experience, that now he's acknowledging that that's something that he can do, and it's been very good for his life. Not auditioning, but doing job interviews. He learned to do that instead of clamming up. So that's a little off the clown topic, but but that was a great benefit. And then my younger son, he doesn't quite see it yet. He is me, but a musician. It's so funny to talk to him. He sees the world the same way as me. He's somehow, he can't hold a job. I've never been able to hold a job. Uh, and he's doing his thing, gig to gig to gig. So
He's an artist.
he's an artist. That's sort of the what I figured out. Finally, it's taken me a million years. I figured out what an artist is. An artist is someone that just, no matter what they try, they always have to go back to their craft. And that's pretty much the definition I've come up with. Uh, because my older son, again, he was a very good musician. He was also a very good actor in college and stuff, but he wanted a job. It didn't drive him to give up everything to do it. I have tried to have jobs, and I just couldn't do it. And my son he tried. He had a legit job coming out of college, and he just, nope, I need to be a musician. He's now a server in a restaurant in Manhattan, doing so that he can support his drumming.
But he's happy.
Um, I hope so.
How many of these high-priced executives are happy?
I don't know. I
That's
don't know.
right.
I
And I
don't know.
don't think they
I
know
don't
either.
know.
So,
You know,
so there's the
being
secret.
able to buy a new car would make me happy. But
Yeah, there's the method to your madness. Maybe you're driving around an old car, but
yeah,
you have a full soul.
I have a full soul, and I made it work. I mean, somehow, I just like I mean, I own a home. This is always my thing in the most expensive city in America. San Francisco is crazy, and somehow we made it work. And the kids got through college and summer camps and and all that stuff. And yeah,
Thank you, Mother Boswick,
Mother Boswick,
for
yes.
providing.
Mhm,
Now, you mentioned something, and I was going to bring this up. Um, my son is terrified of clowns.
mhm.
And of course, in response, I will send him videos of killer clowns from outer space, it, and all of those others. Um, has that hurt your business? Has that challenged your business anywhere? When it came out and that was a big hit, did did that challenge anything with you? The
It,
scared
it
of the clown things?
it's a challenge, but it's like I also like everyone I know that's a professional clown. Absolutely, I love this. I love the flip side of the clown, the horror clown. I mean, they do a really good job. I mean, it's another side of clowning, and I if they can do it well, I'm very excited for it. It was spectacular. It's a spectacular take on it. Killer clowns from outer space. I don't know if I saw that. There was one of those that a bunch of Ringling clowns were in. I forgot the Killer Clowns from Mars or something like that. They used like everyone I knew was in this movie.
Right.
Um, but ye, yeah, it's a funny thing about the difference for me is I um it's a cultural thing. What's funny about there's this background noise about clowns of clowns are scary, people don't like clowns, stuff like that. Um, I live in it's a very uh Latin culture, California, a lot of Spanish speaking people, and you go into any of those markets and they use clowns. They love clowns in Mexico, Central America, South America on their products. You see clowns on wheat or whatever. I mean, it's just so they love clowns in Mexico. There's a huge tradition of you have your clown that you'll have at the first birthday, and then I think it's usually the seventh birthday. That's the communion. They'll have that, and then they'll have their family clown at the quinceañero, and then they have the clown at the wedding. And this is their tradition. So for people in America, we think we're very we know everything about everything. Everyone hates clowns, right? And you go, yeah, well, you look at another culture that grows up with loving clowns, and they don't have this fear of clowns thing. So, yeah, it's a fact of life. For a while. I stopped calling myself a clown for the kid shows. I kind of because people didn't dig it, and then it returned. I got more publicity when it was about 7, 8 years ago, where kids or something were jumping out of bus stops and scaring people. Probably don't even remember. It got its 15 minutes of fame. It was all over the place. I did so many interviews on that one. I was on the BBC. I was like, this is crazy because I have a really strong web presence. So they found me. It was very wild. And yeah, but fundamentally because I deal with not with Mother Boswick, but my living is with kids, and it's they they call anyone funny a clown. So it's in their vocabulary. So it's
Sure.
you just go with that. You go with that's my customers, and they love clowns. Kids love clowns. So yeah, and it's also like back to that telling the truth thing. I mean, yep. A, if you're a truthful character, um people are going to love you. And the training ground for me. I mean, I was young when I started with the Ringling Brothers. I mean, relative to now, and you see thousands and thousands of people. You open up the show, you wander around where they're seating, the stadium seats and everything. They're just you're trying to make your way out. You go out 20 minutes before the show begins, so you're trying to see as many people as many kids as you can, many people as you can. So you could spot it. You get very intuitive. That's a part of being a performer, especially a clown, is you're very intuitive. So you could spot in a kid's eyes from 10 feet away. You can see it, and you just know how to approach them. And it's very rare that a kid doesn't fall in love with me. Um, and I've also, yeah, ooh, I mean, this is kids mentality. But what I've discovered is too, I will always enter a room or a park or wherever I'm performing and let them see me come in. And it because if they're surprised by me, it's scary to a kid. And that's the interpretation. That's a parent problem. But yeah, so I don't really believe that much in the fear of clowns. It's I have kind of an idea that it's a lazy joke. Um, and it's
Do you think it's because of what you had said? You quite astute that here's this mask telling us the truth, but they're lying to us at the same time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
could it be that we're going to hear the truth whether we like it or not, and we don't know who's saying it to us?
yeah,
That makes us so fearful of clowns. And kids, the same thing. They don't know who that is, trying to make them laugh or trying to scare them. They just don't get it yet. They don't have a grasp of life, so they're
mm,
scared. Do you think it's that lie truth sort of analogy that you gave
yeah.
us?
It could be. It could be, but but they think of with the kids. I mean, they think of you coming in. They think of you more as like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or something like that. You're. I mean, what I get a lot with dealing with kids is a lot they'll say you're not a real clown. That's a very funny statement that I go, oh well, what is a real clown? I thought you knew it was a person, but it's they put it in the same category as Santa Claus. So so that's a little bit frightening to them too. Um, is that is this a person? Is it coming out of the TV? What is this? So yeah, so yeah, it's just something to deal with. If you have someone, I mean, just hire a professional. That's it because they're very nice, generally very nice, caring people. But on the flip side of all this, it's such a powerful character. It's such a powerful character. I mean, it's in Jungian theory of his his archetypes, right? I forgot how many archetypes he had, like eight, something like that. That it is he mentioned it. It's such a powerful character because every culture recognizes it. So so it being so powerful, um, you can get the scary side of that. It can be very fun and funny and loving, and you can easily get the opposite side, hence the horror movies.
It's funny you say that. There was one occasion where I played a clown for a stage play, and as I was putting on makeup, a friend of mine came into the dressing room, and at that point, all I had on was the bass, and he looked and said, "You have no emotions in your face all of a sudden."
Mm,
And so yeah, it's like you don't know what the emotion is under there. So the mystery is even within the makeup of the
yeah.
character.
Yeah, and I mean, the training for clowning, the makeup itself is really it's interesting. That the traditional Ringling Brothers makeup, which is a very strong white face, or a goose, which is the white around the mouth and the eyes, is it is meant. Its design is so you can see emotions from row, double Z in the, whatever, the Philadelphia arena, whatever it is. I mean, those they have to be 200 feet away. They see what's going on. And the theory of that, the theory of where clown makeup came from was when they came out with footlights in the 1820s or 18 somethings, that they had candle power footlights was where it started. So the actors, maybe it's later, but the actors wore that kind of pale white makeup. That was the tradition until I think the 1920s. Actors wore that pale, like into the silent movies.
Oh,
So
you see that in the silent films. Everyone seems to be,
right,
pale as a
right,
ghost.
right. So that was from the stage because lighting wasn't. I mean, they didn't have LED and all that stuff. Of course, they had candle or early electricity, and the clown making it extreme is making fun of the actors. So they go more extreme than the actors. This is a theory, but I buy that one. That's a pretty interesting one that they're making fun of that. Hmm.
So you're mentioning TV, you're mentioning film, you're mentioning all of these things. Now it's easy. One thinks, okay, you're an actor, and so you grow into another kind of acting, another kind of whatever. You might direct, whatever. What's the future? You're a clown. You were on Broadway in Ringling Brothers. That's the clown Broadway.
Yeah.
And so now you have this wonderful act that you're touring. What's next for you? What's next for the act? What's the next level for you?
Uh, it is it is really the big experiment right now with Mother Boswick. So developing into the I've gone through about three iterations of my clown character. Boswick the clown is the name of my clown character, and as I aged, this is it changes. It changes with my life experience, with my physicality, with my age, and and Mother Boswick was why I was always a little bit afraid of her, was because it was such a powerful character, and it was truly I truly had to grow into her. It took me a long time to accept it and to let her loose. Um, so right now it's really fun to be performing. I create so much social media content. I have gone was doing the math. I was having lunch with my mom the other day and I was showing her, she's a big fan of Mother Boswick, which is hilarious. And I have done 345 days in a row of a brand new content of social media every single day. Yes, you of all people could probably appreciate that yes, coming up with new ideas constantly. And yeah,
That's
it's
incredible. That's exhausting.
yeah, and it became yeah. Um, it's nuts, and now it's an incredible. I have to do it. So it's that. So to create the character of Mother Boswick, that's been my focus for the last 7 months. I started really working on the character probably a year ago, and then just completely social media wise just gave up everything else and have just been focusing on her. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of a lot of really nice comments, a lot of obsessive fans, and a lot of horrible horrible comments. I'm very thin-skinned. I don't like them, but Mother Boswick will respond to everything. So we get a lot of WTFs from I guess the kids. I don't know who they are responding, but it's really fun to do that, and but I am fundamentally a live entertainer. So I need the audience to see where this character's going. It's a hard question to answer because this is the experiment to see what's going to happen here. This one in Philadelphia is selling really well. Hollywood was more difficult. That was a more competitive place, but it was a absolutely brand new live show. So to find out where Mother Boswick would go was really interesting, and to listen to the audience and to change it each night was really interesting. Um, and what do I say about that? I said something earlier about. So the thing about the clown, what I consider is a little difference between being an actor on stage is uh, everything is on limits. You may have a scripted story or whatever you're doing, but if someone coughs, if someone comes in late, it is on limits. Everything's on limits. The light switch, the outlet covers, everything to a clown is available. And and um, if you don't accept that stuff, you're limiting yourself. So there are no limits to the clown. That's why I enjoy. I mean, I get a kick out of the horror clowns and things because there are no rules. Every rule you come up with, you could find a reason. There's a lot. I mean, I would say I would never smoke in front of kids, but I could find a reason to do it. I could find even right now. I say that I could find a comedy reason to smoke. I don't think I'd
I
do
could see
that
getting
direct
like a
smoke.
three cigar or something like that.
I would just have smoke coming out of my ears. Or I would build one of those props to make it silly. But there's always a way to make something funny. You're always a little bit ahead of the audience. They're ahead of you. It's another flip side of things. They're always ahead of you because you're a dumber character than them, but you're also smarter because you're leading them. So
You
very
are the
very
fool.
strange dynamic. So Mother Boswick, so it's real interesting. This is, I mean, some of my favorite comments from Los Angeles where people say, "I can't believe you improvised for an hour." And I go, "Yeah, I love that it comes off that way because I have so this character has so much material. There's so much. I mean, I have a solid 3 hours she could do of stories of comedy. But the way the show goes is it starts, and if people are restless something or something happens, it's going to change direction. So it looks like it's an improvisation, but it's the stories and the work is very planned out. So it's an interesting, again, it's that flip side thing. I love that it comes off as completely spontaneous, but it is not a spontaneous show. But at the same time, it is spontaneous because I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. And then because I'm also interactive. So that's a lot of fun. What people are gonna do. I've been watching a lot of. I don't know if you know this comedian Jimmy Carr. He's a British comedian.
Love that.
Yeah, I love his interaction. I've been really observing how he works that. This is probably where this character will lead. I think is going in doing 20 minutes of pre-planned stories from the little town of, she comes from a little town of Squinch Hollow, which is nestled where Oregon meets Texas, Nebraska, and New Hampshire. And so do some stories and then just get reactions from the audience. That's what I'm experimenting a lot more with this time. So the future is I will continue, of course, doing the social media. Um, you sent me something about there's a festival next July. I was um, I, sitting on the plane staring at that going, that's a long time away. I tend to be very allergic to to commitments that are a year out, but I go, why not? Let's commit to that. And having two children in New York, I always need an excuse to go there. So that's a good one. I want to, I want to keep trying it. I haven't done the show in San Francisco where I live.
Oh,
And there's so many directions to take it. There's a place that I've been working for years and years and years. It's a 1920s venue. Um, it's one of the early immersive theaters when that was coming in after uh, oh shoot, I forgot the name. The big one in New York is Sleep No More. So this was kind of the big one that came after that. Very large. We had at one point 38 actors that you would follow in the show. So very large. So I'm kind of their go-to their comedy guy for as MC and things. And we were talking the other day about having drag brunch. So I think Mother Boswick would be outstanding to introduce drag characters because I love drag. I'll tell
I
you.
don't have to tell you it's huge in New York, so this is a great place
Oh,
for something like
that would be great. I would love to appear because it's so different. The drag performers are so careful with how they look, and it's wonderful. I love drag performers. I well, it's drag is a cousin of clowning, which is really interesting that a lot of people don't get. So I just love drag, and so it would be very fun to take such characters that take themselves so seriously and have Mother Boswick in there as the MC would be so funny. I don't know what would happen there. I'm very I'm hesitant. I'm reticent to I don't want to disrespect any community. So I'm always
yeah,
a little
two
bit
words,
afraid.
fist fight. So so you don't make too much fun.
Yeah, but that would be a fun character. And on that topic, it's very funny because it's Mother Boswick is not to me. It's a drag character, but it is a clown in a dress, and I hope that comes across. But it's it's obviously it's a guy in a
It's
a
the
gray suit as a dress.
exaggeration and not the perfection that
Yes.
that really make the difference. Sure.
Yes, I'm thinking now. I should have put on the stuff as we did this interview. I was like, that would have been very funny.
Then you have to wash it off and too much work.
Oh, you have no idea. My life as a clown, I have washed so much makeup off in my life. Yeah. And I just go, this was interesting, discovering that lipstick is very difficult to take off. Because I've
They do it
always
on purpose. They make the lipstick so it stays there.
Oh yes. Well, I've always worn the makeup I've always used is grease paint. So, you have to, it comes off with oil. You
Right.
powder it and it comes off with oil. It's very solid. So I've always experienced this. And then I'm going out, I do my thing, and then I go to walk the dog and I go, oh boy, I still,
Oh no,
still,
Lancome weatherproof. No, you're done. You're
yes,
done for the day.
yes, 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 yes. So,
So tell us, now that you've whet our appetite for this, where is what's the performances? When are the performances? Where are the performances in Philly?
okay, I am at the Philadelphia Fringe Festival. The first show, they go September 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Yellow Bicycle Theater. All the performances are 8:45 in the evening. This is an adult or a medium-aged teenager, I think would be fine. There's no swearing, but it is a lot of innuendo. There's a lot of sexual innuendo in her character, and there's one matinee on Saturday. What would that be? The 6th? Is that Saturday? Saturday. That's a 12:45 show. And for the people that are cheapskates, I'm doing a free performance at Reading Terminal on Friday the 9th at 12 noon. So I,
Very cool.
I was
Very
hoping to
cool.
get some more. They have a lot of street performing spots, but they I guess so much competition I could only get one slot. So that is probably the most interesting part of this, of taking this journey. I want to see what happens in the regular public, how people react. I've taken Mother Boswick out only once in the regular public, and it's a lot of fun. People go, "What the heck is this?"
They're gonna love it. They're gonna absolutely love it. Um, David, thank you so much. I knew I was expecting high energy. I knew I was expecting an entertaining moment with you. I didn't realize how deeply you have rehearsed this and studied this and analyzed this. This was a masterclass for me in terms of clowns. I can now walk away and turn to people and say, "Did you know?" And I have all of this knowledge from you.
Well,
I wish
now
you.
we know each other. Now we're friends. You can turn to me always. So yeah.
That's right. That's right. Love to work with you here in New York. Let's bring the mother down to New York at some point.
Yes, yes, we talked about. I'm very excited to do that because, uh, yeah, New York has, they have the alt comedy scene. I discovered in San Francisco, the alt comedy, it rapidly turns into comedy, which I'm not that interested in. I want alternative comedy for this character. So,
In New York, it rapidly turns into alt. So you're in fine shape
right,
for that.
right. What was there? I was looking at one. It was clown. Oh, I should have had this clown camp cabaret something, and I went, oh, this looks neat. And then I started watching the videos. I went, oh, I can't be part of this. It's it's to me, there's a bad part of clowning, or people that they perceive clowns and they just want to be weird. I fundamentally always want to entertain the audience. That's so important to me. I don't want to do weird for weird's sake.
You got to come
So
at it with a pure heart. You
thank
can't
you. Yes.
you can't think, look, I'm wearing makeup now, pay me. No, it's so much deeper than that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. Have a you open tomorrow for heaven's sake.
Tomorrow, yeah, I might go out tonight. I am because I just arrived. Just as background, I just arrived 20 minutes before this started. I just got off the plane, got into the hotel here. So I was going to go over to the area of the Fringe area. So because I think there's a party, I can't get the handle on this one, and I was going to go over. I was going to put everything on, and I was going to go over as Mother Boswick and walk around at the party tonight. So if
Well, then
that's if that's
I'll leave you to it
yeah.
because you probably going through jet lag. So before you conk out, let's get you to the party.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much.
We
This
just
is
need a
great. I
cheesesteak and
wish
I'm
you
on my
all
road.
the best.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for this time. Thanks.
My pleasure. Thank you.